Hey guys, and welcome to today's idiot video. Today's video covers a flat earther who doesn't think we can measure the speed of light, and he also believes that a couple of hundred years ago, the entire world was covered in a mud flood. So let's wait for light to cover 300,000 kilometers. And now, let's begin.
This is for whomever believes in space, okay? Who disagrees with me that space does not exist. This is for you.
Ah yes, CC, the space-denying flat earth idiot who is known for such films as Traveling in Cars with Phones, Me, My Phone, and My Car, and the flat earther classic but dangerous instructional video series, How to Vertical Film While Driving. Well, let's see what the Grape Kool-Aid Man has to say today.
Scientism wants you to believe that space does exist, and it's this enormous universe.
Well, all evidence does seem to point to space existing, especially the degrading pressure of our atmosphere with height, along with the expansion of rockets' exhaust as they get higher in altitude. On Earth, we consider anything above the Kármán line space, so yeah, space exists, and CC is an idiot.
However, I come to the conclusion that scientists are complete bullshitters.
And I've come to the conclusion that you are a complete fucking idiot. Here, let's let the audience decide. Keep track at home, and at the end of this video, leave a comment with your own decision. Will CC convince you that all scientists are complete bullshitters, or will I convince you that CC is a disingenuous piece of shit idiot?
Because if you think about it, guys...
Oh shit, everybody watch out. A flat earther is thinking.
Time. Time can't be measured in space. That's what the scientists say.
What the fuck do you mean by time can't be measured in space? Because absolutely no reputable scientists say that. So you have to clarify. Do you mean that if you take a clock into space, it won't tick? Or do you mean that there is no time to be measured in space? It doesn't matter, because either way you're wrong. So you're still a fucking idiot.
It can't be measured in space. Okay, alright. So let's take a look at that statement.
Should we look at it from a scientific point of view, or from the point of view of a pseudo-scientific bus driver?
And let's take a look at, well then how are they measuring the year or how old these galaxies are and that are so far away? Oh, well, because of light.
First off, a year has nothing to do with the amount of time light goes anywhere, and only to do with the amount of time it takes for the Earth to orbit the sun, you idiot. Now, as far as light being used to determine distance, that's another thing. Typically, there are two general ways to measure the distance of objects outside of our galaxy. The first is with standard candles. Standard candles are astrophysical objects whose luminosity is consistent throughout the universe. By directly measuring the intensity of a standard candle and knowing that the intensity of light falls off at 1 over the distance squared, we can calculate its distance from Earth. The other way of measuring more distant objects is with redshift, which is a result of the expansion of the universe.
They look at the galaxy and they say it's 50 trillion light years away.
50 trillion light years away? Want to try that again, idiot?
Maybe it's not 50 trillion. Let's say it's 50 billion light years away, okay?
Nope, you're still an idiot. Try again.
Easier number to work with. You know, trillion might be a little bit too much. Let's work with billion.
Come on, CC. You know that any number over 3 is too hard for flat earth idiots to work with.
50 billion light years away. So that's how they estimate the age of the galaxy.
Before we get started with some actual science, let me ding you again for saying stupid shit like the galaxies are 50 billion light years away first, cause you are an idiot. When astronomers look at the distance to galaxies that are approximately 10 to 13.6 billion light years away, they are seeing the galaxies as they were about 10 to 13.6 billion years ago. They are not talking about the actual age of the galaxy itself, but the age of the light that the galaxy emitted. If you look through a telescope and observe the Andromeda Galaxy, you can say that that image of the Andromeda Galaxy is about 2.6 million years old, while the Andromeda Galaxy itself is probably closer to 10 billion years old or more.
Now that's funny, because we don't know how fast light travels. There's absolutely no way of measuring how fast light travels.
We don't need to test how fast light travels, because we know how fast light travels. Our entire radar industry is designed around the precise knowledge of the speed of light. CC, you are a fucking idiot.
But the scientists will let you know that at 7.5 times around the world in 1 second, and it's 186,000 miles per second. How do they come up with that number?
The historical story of how humans discovered the finite speed of light is well documented. It really gets good when Danish astronomer Olav Romer made visual observations that were later mathematically interpreted by Christian Huygens. These observations led to a value of around 212,000 kilometers per second. We'll skip a few scientists and measurements that were made until we get to the Flat Earth's favorite globe scientist, Albert Michelson, who used spinning mirrors to accurately measure the speed to 299,853 kilometers per second. Now, around that same time, James Maxwell developed the Maxwell equations describing electromagnetic properties and concluded that light must be an electromagnetic wave, something that we know to be factual today. The discovery that light was an electromagnetic wave is one of the key findings that drove Einstein to develop his theory of special relativity.
So if that number's fake and that number's bullshit, that means anything that they're looking up there in space, they don't know anything at all. They know nothing. It's all bullshit.
And you are an idiot. If the speed of light is just all bullshit, then how is it possible for radar technology, GPS, and satellite systems to all work flawlessly when these technologies are all based on the speed of light being constant?
There is no space, guys. Doesn't exist. It's a figment of your imagination.
Okay, I'm starting to see now why so many of you wanted me to do a video covering this guy. It's almost as if every time he opens his mouth, he's trying to out-stupid the last thing he said. Space is fake? CC, you're an idiot.
I don't know. I know one thing, though. That every single scientist out there is an absolute liar. Because the speed of light is undeterminable, okay?
And you're a fucking idiot. I really hate when flat earth punks like CC sit back in their safe space vans and denigrate the scientific community because they're too fucking stupid to understand the actual science. Not to mention, these fucking idiots are talking shit about the scientists all while using technology based on their discoveries. I'm done being a nice guy to these disingenuous dipshits. But to answer your question, there are many ways to determine and measure the speed of light yourself. I'll post a link in the description of a way that even a child can measure the speed of light with a microwave and a chocolate bar. And CC, before you get all excited, it doesn't involve eating the chocolate bar at light speed. So let's hear what the blue-shirted chocolate monster has to say next.
I want to get into Mudflood real quick with you.
Mudflood. Who could have guessed? Oh, I could have guessed, because it's in chapter 2 of my book, right after Flat Earth, on the origin of idiot species by means of de-evolution.
And the age of these rocks that are around, that scientists want you to believe are 50 trillion years old.
CC, I love free idiot points as much as the next man. But dude, come on. You gotta try harder than that.
Or 50 billion.
Oh my god, you're such an idiot. If the Earth is less than 5 billion years old, then how are there rocks that are 50 billion years old?
Or 50 million years old, or whatever ridiculous thing that they come up with.
I knew if I gave you 50 trillion tries, you would eventually get it. So without taking 50 billion years to get there, can you give us your best 50 million year old evidence?
It was a picture of limestone, okay? And the limestone actually grew around this rock. I mean, this cup. I believe it was a cup or something like that. Some kind of artifact. It was either a cup or a plate or something. But you can see the limestone, and it actually, over time, I don't know, thousands of years, I guess. Who knows? It's not that long. It actually, you know how sometimes you see... All right, perfect example.
Somebody get CC some Ritalin. He's having trouble completing his own thoughts again. Limestone, cups, plates, go.
In Westchester County, we see this in a lot of the racket clubs and tennis places. You know, they have the fencing around the perimeter of the place to keep everybody locked up, like cattle, of course.
Are you talking about the barrier that is put up to keep logical, sane, paying customers away from flat earth mudtard idiots like yourself? Money well spent, in my opinion.
You sometimes see these trees that have actually grown through the fence. You've seen that before, right? This is exactly what this limestone did on an artifact.
That's not how limestone works. So most likely, CC is talking about tufa limestone, which is a type of limestone that you can find in caves like Mother Shipton's cave in England. You can see objects encased in limestone that were left by visitors from only a few months back. That limestone is formed when mineralized water from the waterfalls falls onto the items, and the limestone forms rapidly due to its fine-grained size. Unless the object is positioned in a way that the forming limestone becomes too heavy for the object to support and it breaks, it won't begin to grow into anything. It will just form around the object. It might help in the future to do some research about limestone before using it incorrectly as a proof. Just saying, you're an idiot.
Okay, so these are rocks that you're looking at? God, no, are they trees? I don't know. I have no idea.
Well, you got that right. You have no fucking idea what you're talking about because limestone rocks are not fucking trees. They are made of calcium carbonate, which means they were at one point at the bottom of a sea, and trees don't fucking grow at the bottom of the sea, you absolute idiot.
But they're certainly not as old as you think. Absolutely not. Take a look at an old piece of driftwood in the ocean. Look at the nooks and crannies on it, especially if it's been split in half or whatever. And you see those nooks and crannies. They look exactly like the top of stones, of some of the stones that you're looking at.
Why do I feel like I have to say this in every video? Looks like something does not mean that it is that something that it looks like, you idiot. If that were the case, then CC is so obviously Humpty Dumpty.
So yes, Devil Tower. Devil Towers definitely had to have been an ancient tree.
And you have to be a fucking idiot. Apparently one who suffers from an extreme case of apophenia, or the psychological condition in humans that causes us to see a pattern in one object and find a meaning or connection to a completely unrelated object, like rocks and trees.
But this all goes to Mudflood. You know, how is it cut down? How is it perfectly cut down?
It wasn't cut down because it's not a fucking tree, you idiot. Geologists still have no definitive explanation about how Devil's Tower was formed, but one thing they can all agree on is that Devil's Tower was magma before it was rock, and that is evident by the vertical columnar joining, which is present in rapidly cooled magma formations around the world, but is not present in petrified wood.
I don't know. I don't know. I could come up with 50 million explanations for it, but none of them
will make any fucking sense. Or I know, none of them will be factually accurate. And not to be mathematically pedantic, but it's taken you almost 3 minutes to come to just one incorrect conclusion. At that rate, do you realize it's going to take you a little more than 285 years to come up with 50 million excuses when you could have spent just 5 minutes doing the research and eliminating all the guessing? CC, you're an idiot.
I don't know. Who knows? Were there giants that lived among us? It seems like it, but we don't know this. But it definitely, certainly seems that there was a mud flood of some sort.
And you are a fucking idiot. Because we are talking about just a few hundred years ago. Like, after the invention of writing, we have detailed historical accounts of many different events from many different civilizations from around the globe during the time period. And mudtards still think that a global mud flood happened even though nobody thought it was significant enough to document. And if a race of giants walked the earth, where are their bones, their graves, or any proof that they actually existed?
These are all lies again. Lies to make you think that you're helpless. And that's exactly what we are.
Your helplessness is self-inflicted. Everything you said in this video was factually incorrect at a high school physics and history level, so I suggest you go back to school and get an education before complaining about being helpless, because you are a fucking idiot. I think this is where we're going to stop today. CC's claims that the speed of light can't be measured, a worldwide mud flood happened, and giants walk the earth are about as outrageous as that grape-flavored curtain he's wearing. Because CC, you are a fucking idiot. Now I'd like to take the time out to thank CC for finally making a video in a car that he is not actively operating. I hope for his sake and the sake of the people around him that this becomes a permanent thing.
Remember when you bought your first car? Really?
Guess not. CC, you're a fucking idiot. Alright guys, thanks for sticking around until the end. If you found this video even infinitesimally entertaining, hit that thumbs up and click the subscribe button. Flat Earth is dying, and mudtards are one of the next topics to begin addressing. Leave a comment if you want to see more Mudflood idiots destroyed, or if you have any other pseudoscientific idiots you'd like to see debunked. A massive shout out to all of my channel patrons and members, especially MA2 Fletcher Eisler, Aussie Globehead, Glober Chris, Chris Kelling, and our newest Golden Dinger, Kim Lassen. With your support, I can continue to do what I love to do the most, destroying idiots. I'm Father Skeptic, and I'm out.